Gather round, my children.
Gather round for the tale. We've had a lot of attention under the water for a bit, so let's see what's happening above water. Vale jumped off, which was enough time for Kellen to like actually stand up. I mean, they didn't spend all that time laying on the ground. Now, Scott is getting his dog out, which sounds like an innuendo, and it might be. So, Kellen stood back up and is just sort of like, I mean, I don't know how far that goes, but they can't be healthy. That can't be good, right? They're your friend. They're trained swimmers, correct? I've never really swum before. They're trained swimmers, right?
Well, Valley is certainly used to boats. I would be very surprised if he can't swim. I am not so certain about the Smith, but something tells me when he's got that stone on, he is nearly invincible. I do not understand it, to be honest. He's prone to these flights of fancy. He will do some quite bizarre things. It earns him so many beatings, but he still does it nevertheless.
Give me persuasion, but with advantage, because not only are you going off what Vale said a second ago, you're going off something you said last week as well, with Thorak getting beatings for being like a bad servant. So yeah, you're getting advantage for that one, because I like it. I don't care if it deserves it. And you needed it. So Kellen's just sort of like, yeah, yes, of course. And that poor woman. I've seen her around. I don't know who she was that jumped down there. The half lass.
Well, I heard her voice. So I don't think she's in immediate danger. She's not likely to drown at any rate. If we can hear her voice, that must mean she's.
Kellen, what's going on in here? There's water pouring out of the room. What happened to the well? Like one of the it's not one of the guards. It's like one of the people who's training the guards walks up, and they have like a weapon on their belt and stuff. But they're just like, what is happening? And Karen's like, their smith of Lady Maria jumped into the well while absorbing it, and then the halfling, the halfling woman who stays here most of the time. Yes, I know. I know the one.
At him coming up, and this being said, I would just sort of put my hand on my head and be like, I apologize for my smith's conduct. I will see to it that he's thoroughly disciplined.
Well, hopefully this well can be repaired. Otherwise, I would have to add to your bill. These are paying their clientele. Oh yes, their clientele. Well, maybe we should be picking clientele that are less troublesome. And then he turns, but he doesn't leave. He just kind of like he leaves after about 5 minutes of just sort of standing there, not looking at any of you.
No, adding it to the bill would be fine, but I do not think you need to worry. I've seen him do this before. He seems to be able to return the stone to its previous form once he's done. It is a truly unusual magic.
If I may, my lady, I do not think my lady needs to explain herself twice.
But he is my. I see your point. I see your point, Simwick. But that it was the Smith's fault, and the Smith is my responsibility. I brought him here. For that, at least, I need to apologize.
I understand.
Okay, so that you're good on the above waterfront. On the below waterfront. On the below waterfront, the Dryad, the Halfling, and the Tiefling all walk into a bar. No, they kind of walked out of the room, although the Dryad is still in the room because he's too tall. So Vale topless and Thorak stony and wet, hard and wet.
Vale topless,
standing in the room beside this statue.
Because I'm just saying, I've got a wet gaping hole right now. It's my side, and my ribs are exposed. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, you do have. Yeah, it's
pretty gross. No, so yeah, you said. Yes.
What the hell are you doing? How are we going to explain this to everyone? Not to mention, we've just discovered something that is clearly secret.
Yes, you did not hear this in her voice?
Hear what? She's clearly deranged.
No,
He turns and waves at her, staring.
No,
like, oh, yeah.
the tieflings left. The,
Yeah,
no,
the
you think about
halfling,
the
the
door.
halfling's watching,
Oh, okay.
and the dryad's watching.
Lariath. I mean the Lariath. Upstairs. The one that I give you lesson on. You not know how to speak to ladies or how to understand their tone? You are a young man. Very, very young and inexperienced man. Perhaps one day we wet the noodle, but until then, you must understand that I mentioned through the wall that there was a problem. She clearly could not hear what I was referring to because she has elven ears. They're shit. And but she seemed to be very keen on making sure that I was not along train of thought any longer. Train, does that exist? Phrase
Yes.
still exists.
Phrase still exists. 'Cause
Along
fuck
that
you.
carriage of thought.
Carriage of thought.
Can we say
The
that
tram
anyway?
of
Because that's
thought.
good.
Cabbage? Carriage? I didn't know.
Trains do exist in Crimson Mountain.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah,
Along
that's
that
right.
freight train of
More
thought.
of a tram than a
There is
train.
actually a train line. You just didn't see it.
But moving on.
All right, stop that, Mr. Dean. That's inappropriate.
So moving on.
Where was that noise?
Scott made the noise. I was simply doing it again.
Well,
I've lost my train of thought.
It is okay. I'm here to help short track find its way to where it's
Back on the
going.
rails.
So anyways, my point is she deliberately trying to dissuade me from looking any further. She even go so far as to try to show me a quick and easy answer. To less keen people, perhaps they not question any further. But I'm more keen than most.
Yes, Forak, the others think we are drowning right now.
Then they are not very bright, especially Gilwyn.
when you say that, you don't even need to do perception. It's very obvious. But Dryad starts walking to the water edge and actually dunks his head underwater, but he can't see under the lip. But he's like others, and then he immediately goes to look.
He's a funny creature.
Do we push him?
Why do you think he might be a little more thirsty? I don't think he'll fit through that hole.
We are done talking now.
Like immediately, the
no, we are
tiefling bashes out of the room.
No,
Brilliantly, because I have many questions. Many. I could write them down. I don't have a quill on hand. Can you imagine? It's always when you want to write things down. You don't have a
I
quill.
pull out
Yeah.
a sopping wet quill.
Thank you. And she kind of like waves it in the air, and there's a little bit of magic, and it's perfectly fine. And she starts writing on her wrist.
We actually had a couple of questions about.
Yeah, what is your names? I always need to write down the names of new people when I meet them. Otherwise, they just go right through my head. You know how long it took me to remember the Sylvan name over there. They do not roll off the tongue. In fact, they roll off the tongue rather well. Actually, is the funny thing, almost too well.
Dale just looks at Forak.
But what are your
Foracus
names?
is waiting.
Just gives
are
Forak a
names?
look and then looks back.
Foracus is waiting. He's fine.
This is too much for Vale. My name is Valley. What is yours?
Oh, my name is Embrace.
Embrace.
Embrace, yes, like
And
the hug.
what is it you do here, Embrace?
Oh, well, I mean, if you're asking for a profession, that's, a little bit embarrassing. I'm kind of between jobs right now, but I'm not really looking, so it's okay. No,
It is okay. I understand. Perhaps it is your significant other. She is the one that takes care of you while you're between these opportunities.
I mean, I think she'd give me all the money I wanted if I asked, but I don't ask for that. Just the occasional tease so I can fix things down here, because I really want to please my lady. And I don't mean my lady, I mean my lady. And she kind of like points to the statue.
So
Of course.
Vale like picks up a little bit of. I want to insight on Forak to see, because he mentions a significant other, and I'm like, oh, is this the person?
Yeah, just do a general insight.
Hey.
Yeah, you totally catch what he's meaning, that this is potentially the girlfriend, right?
Because what happens is I'm like, your significant other.
But luckily this person doesn't give a fuck. You know her? Do you know her? She actually, it's funny enough. She kind of looks like that guy, but not really, But you know a little bit because apparently something terrible happened to her. I don't know. She tried to tell me I wasn't really listening. I don't really deal with the past, right? We kind of care about them now, but she's got the whole kind of like wood thing going on, and you know what? I love the whole wood aesthetic. It really gets me going, and I mean that way.
Know her. Yes, we do.
Perhaps I say Vel. Perhaps.
It's Valley.
Oh yes.
Oh, you have two names. Now that
it
is
Elven
interesting.
names are,
what was your name, Mr. Dwarf?
Listen, I actually
Listen?
when I come into the cave, it was a little strange. I see this tree down here, which is very unusual, and I think perhaps this tree is what is her name? Trying to think of the dryad's name.
The one on the surface?
To Valley, not to you, Ollie.
It is Lady. This is why I wrote it down. Laria Thagast.
Lady August. She I go lady, and I start saying like August. She is her lineage. I thought perhaps this was her tree. Gesturing to.
No, this is my tree. But don't let me say that in a language he understands. He doesn't really speak a whole lot of common, the occasional words. But Fae, why would the Fae use common, right? We made it for a language for trade. And I don't mean me. I mean, actually, apparently, Nif's kind did it. But I really don't. I don't care about the past. The past sucks. Who cares about the past?
We actually...
Valley, perhaps let her say what it is she needs to say. If it is important to her, we listen. But I must ask, though, his tree, where is his tree?
What do you mean?
Him.
He is a tree.
Yes, but where is his tree?
He is the tree. He's like a tree person. It's great. I really like it.
But where is his tree?
He is a tree.
Okay, that is a little strange. I just there isn't much by way of woods around here, so I just was a little confused.
The whole dryad thing, like dryad being tied to a tree that you're trying to go for, is less how I run things when it comes to dryads. They're way more actually a tree peoples than trapped in trees.
Yeah, they're more linked to the Feywild in this rather than...
Well, dryads I think are pretty Fey linked anyway, but they're like cursed Fey that are trapped in trees in traditional D&D lore or something.
Yeah.
This is like...
Yeah,
this is
if you
way
own a dryad's
more
tree, you effectively own the
person.
dryad.
I actually
because
have...
if you destroy the tree, you destroy the dryad.
No,
so there used to be a thing you can like uproot a tree and just bring it to your castle, and they have to be within a certain radius of their tree. So you're like, bitch, I own you. And they're like, okay.
Well, that kind of thing would be possible. It would definitely, it's not how most dryads are. So you have this little bit of a conversation. It's just like... And
she's like, lost. And I'm like, oh. And so I'm actually lost as she's lost, and we're both sitting there lost, and Valley is probably...
The dryad, like, finally pops his head out of the water, and it's very unsettling, because, like, water obviously got in its mouth and just pouring out of the grin, as it sort of, like, stands and looks back over, and is like, he shall yes. And then the tiefling's just like, Embrace just goes like, no. I mean, do you have more friends? Yeah, are there more people? I don't mind, but if you all come here near her once, I don't have enough chairs. I only have like two.
Our lady is waiting upstairs at the moment. We serve her, and it is very rude of us to have left.
You should go. You should get at it. You should go because nothing is more important than a lady.
Yes.
You know how it is. Right?
Perhaps you could show us the way out. My friend here.
It's really easy. You just swim up.
He's not capable of this swim. And I
surely got down here.
He's
I guess
not
it's his
capable
problem then.
of this swim.
Well, I guess it means he's just gonna have to stay with us for a while, huh?
Actually, this is much more preferable. You are much better company than what the shit is upstairs. And I do not mean a few of them are quite nice, including Lady August, but most of them they're elves, and so they're shit. And then I gesture to him. They often interrupt conversations and such.
You know what? I actually have noticed that.
More and more frustrated.
They always say, but if you want to have a conversation with an elf, it's nice and long, and they listen for a long time. But in my opinion, they just get frustrated. I don't know why, but no, Lareth doesn't do that. She'll listen to me talk for hours before saying anything, and usually, I shouldn't say what I'm going.
I am leaving. Forak, good luck.
Yes, go deal with your lady.
Perhaps there's something similar between Lareth and oh wait, Lareth was the name of the lady. Never mind. No,
Lareth is the woman you're trying to kidnap their girlfriend of. Kellen is the woman who's outside right now.
Never mind. I don't say anything.
You know what? You know what? Just I'm a little bit of a stickler for paranoia sometimes. Nif, can you go with him? Put your armor back on, because I love the bod and your tattoo is nice, but put the armor back on first. Follow him out. Show him the way in case he gets confused. He's a lanky, tall fella, which it's not an insult, darling, but he might get stuck. So show him out, and she does. She puts her armor back on. And is like, come on. To Vale.
Vale sort of like cocks an eyebrow up.
Oh, are you insulted that you're going to be led by me? That's
reaches into his belt and just wraps a cloth around his wrist and then starts wading his way into the water again.
Right, it's very simple. You see, the way out, you go up, and she dives and swims. Give me an acrobatics, old Valey boy.
Vale is really contemplating just garroting her in the water right now.
And then her body floats up, but we all know where it came from.
That's true.
The dwarf
did
it.
Then Forek's just standing there, chatting to his tiefling, and then the halfling body just goes flop, and he just goes, oh.
I know this place up.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh my god, now you won. Lucky she came with me.
So she pulls out a garrote while you guys are swimming.
Yeah, Vale's body floats to the surface.
Look at Ollie's face.
So she pulls out her knife while you're swimming, and
it's fine. I'm ready for it. I've got the cloth on my wrist.
It's literally just after you dive to get into sort of under the U-bend, you feel it, and I think Vale has had enough fights in the water to know not to yell and lose all your air, right? Because that's not good.
He's been stabbed in the water before.
Yeah.
He's also been shanked in the back before.
You got to be shanked in the back if you want to be a pirate. It's part of the initiation. Wait a minute. This attack has advantage, clearly.
Indeed. Oh, and my armor class will be different.
Oh yeah, because you're not wearing the stuff. That's okay.
I've got my leather armor.
Ollie, I wasn't going to ask, but then I realized I am proficient in insight. I actually have proficiency in it. Should I roll an insight to see if I caught the meaning and make sure he gets up there safe?
My armor class is actually
Feel free.
Yeah, I wasn't going to, but then I realized it's proficient. So
your armor class did not matter at all. This knife sinks into you like hot butter. I mean, a knife through hot butter? No, it sinks into you like hot butter, like you were melting it into your skin. Well, she didn't necessarily seem to be threatening. But it was a paranoia that didn't go through her voice. But the way the halfling looked back, and she kind of was fiddling something behind her back, you think that she might have taken it a different way. Or maybe isn't following orders. Maybe there aren't orders going on here. And it's just suggestions. So, Vale, you take, it would be 8 damage as you are stabbed in the back underwater.
Oh,
all of you give me perception rolls, aside from Vale.
I'm aware of what just happened, actually.
Exactly.
Something to do with that sharp
Caitlin,
pain.
you see red starting to come up from deep under the water.
At that, I would basically completely lose any semblance of I'm trying to be a noble, and I would just well, it's probably not clever to dive in with my armor on.
I was going to say, this is not sensible.
I'd be like, I'd immediately start like getting my armor off and like turn to Gil, and I would probably in my panic just be like, Gil, help me get it off. I know I'm completely blowing this here, but I don't think Caitlin would have the presence of mind to call him by his fake name in this.
No, that makes sense. Like you see the blood come up, and
and she just panics.
Bubbles. Yeah,
Caitlin, I didn't know you felt this way. I mean,
can't you see the damn blood? Help me get my damn armor off.
Oh, that is strange. The well's never bled before.
And then I would immediately dive in once my arm was off, but it would probably take like long enough. I don't know whether it would even be relevant.
Is he helping you remove it or cutting it off?
It takes like 5 minutes, or it's not that long. So what we'll do?
It takes like 5 minutes to dock.
That's all right. Vale's good to go for this one.
Yeah. So Vale, we're not going to roll initiative right now. Vale, you can just straight react.
That's 50
to what's
rounds.
going on here.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, Vale would draw a dagger at this point, from his belt, but differently. So he's gonna his natural blood flares in at this point, and the blood's leaking out of him, and he's gonna cast solar protection. So he blesses himself.
Yeah.
So his natural blood is gonna start leaking out of him, and then he's gonna flare up with a little bit of this sort of holy power. And you just see a little bit of light. Perhaps Thorak might see a little bit of light in the water as this happens.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go buck wild with the old stabby.
Sure. Give me a stab roll.
I will indeed.
Alright, we're not playing Stars Without Number.
Ha. Wait a minute.
There's a skill in Stars Without Number.
Jesus.
That is an easy hit.
Right. And I could actually add
I know.
the 1d4 to that, couldn't I? Right. I need my book. One moment.
What are you Googling?
Let me roll my damage. 6 damage.
6 damage.
Has Caitlin jumped in by this point?
No.
Okay.
This is happening immediately. Caitlin's taking our armor off. We're not doing this in official combat, so it's not going to be like 50 rounds, but it's going to be a while. Okay, so she is hit. At this point, Thorak, you definitely see the blood. You saw like a little flash, and then now you see blood in the water. And actually, Embrace clearly does too. And you look at her, and she's kind of got like a, oh,
What is this?
that's not what I wanted to happen.
Perhaps then you should interject.
You know, I really should, but you know, she kind of knows these things better than me. So you know,
If you do not interject, perhaps your intentions will be misunderstood, and things could get a little complicated.
give me a persuasion roll.
Sure.
Or intimidation if it's higher, because that's kind of like borderline. But I know you're not necessarily being intimidating.
They're the same, so I'm going to roll persuasion because, you know, I'm not trying to be intimidating.
Yeah. She kind of like, oh no, I really hate doing this. I really do, but let's do it! And just kind of like does that. Green and purple energy sort of flows from her, and while she's trying to grapple you, Nif, the halfling underwater Veil, she's small and sprightly. She's kind of like monkeying around you in the water with the dagger, and then she just starts giggling. And like you can see all the bubbles, you can't see that, but you can see the laughter. And then just like laughing and laughing and laughing and crying and laughter. And she just sort of floats up to the top of the water and like rolls over, like just laughing, trying to gasp
I'll be
for
honest.
air
As
soon
as she loses that grip, and she rolls up, Belle's gonna slash the throat.
All right, go ahead and
you're supposed to save her.
give me a roll with advantage.
He doesn't realize
Oh, he
what's
just
going on.
murdered people.
Everything has gone to shit.
Vale's just seen the perfect opportunity. I might have to add bless to this.
Oh no, you don't. You were meant to murder this little. Oh, God, you mother.
That doesn't kill her, but what basically they see on the other side is Thorak's like, maybe you should blah 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 blah, and she cast this spell very dramatically. And at this point, the Dryad sort of walked up to just kind of curious. She bops to the top of the water in the cavern laughing, and then Vale's like, ah! Slashing, bursting out of the water, very clearly stabbing. At this point, the look on Embrace's face that was sort of like, oh, I don't really like what's going on, just very quickly flashes to anger. And now we roll initiative.
What are you doing? Roll for initiative. Where am I?
So you're actually within range, so you could be included in my bless.
Yes.
Forak.
I didn't do it.
Yay!
As you were within range to see my magics. Loop. Hey.
Hey.
Let me find something.
Oh, I didn't. Could you add
way
me
easy
to
to
the
this time.
initiative, please?
Did you guys not click on your tokens like
I'm
bitches?
sorry.
I always click on my token, Ollie.
I'm excited right now.
See what
Right?
I roll? See what I rolled?
Wow.
Wow.
It's literally because
Wow.
Forex. Well, it's like watching Vale have this like life and death struggle, and he's just going, Vale, what are you doing?
Like, I don't
The first
understand
time
how.
I've ever seen a negative initiative roll.
Oh, I've
pretty
seen
brutal.
it before.
I think I have too. Oh, it's so
Where's
bad.
this little halfling, you know? This
But
is-
that's because of
it's not
things like
very
that
one.
that cause dexterity penalties. You know.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
Hope you bring my sword, Gilwyn. Because
I can't
we gonna
swim.
need it.
He's like, I've got your sword, right here, above the well, because I can't swim.
So
Sorry. Drops
we're
in the
doing
water.
a off the books combat here. So Vale, you're actually the first one to act. You sort of burst at the top of the water. You stab this. You can see at the top of the water, and you see this scene of Forak. I don't know if he's got any expression on his face. Embrace very quickly going from I'm worried to I'm fucking furious. And the Dryad you just see is just forming the spear in his hand. It's
I'm sitting
grinning.
with my arms crossed over my chest, like. That's
I
what
mean,
do for the next 10
At this
turns.
point, I'm feeling some pretty strong killing intent from Embrace. I'm not entirely sure. She's just
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to end the opponent who's right in front of me. So
Attack the
this is-
halfling.
this is when the second dagger comes out the belt.
Oh no.
And this is where the double stabby starts.
Oh no.
happening. So I got to make a dagger attack and then an offhand dagger attack with my bonus.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
So 10 damage altogether.
Describe this kill.
So like she like rolls back as she's like laughing and Vale instantly darts up and slashes for the throat, and then on the surface he dives up and just plants both daggers in the chest and like yells out like just a primal like wants to survive, and he just like and then sort of looks up and is like, oh shit. So he's like holding onto her body like as flotation with the two daggers in, like resting almost on it.
And what I'll
As
say
it's-
is, for your movement action, you can basically either get onto the land in the cavern, or try to dive and get out on the other side.
Or start surfing the halfling.
Or start surfing the hut. No. But you can basically, if you want to move, you can either get into where these guys are going to fight you, or try and get to the others.
I'm just saying, this is an attractive little female. You might have better chances with her now that she's dead.
Wow.
She's not an elf actually, so I'm alright.
I don't know. I
Well, then
mean,
there you
maybe
go,
a
it's
gnome
fair
might have triggered
game.
him, but you know, a halfling,
no,
nah,
right,
too
yeah,
homely.
yeah.
He doesn't want to settle down, you know, but the wanderlust of gnomes, that's attractive to him.
Isn't it common to find ladies that are smaller than you attractive? I mean, some of us
So,
like tall.
are you going to move
tall.
Vale, or are you just going to sit there and float?
I'm not sure whether. Sorry, Forak. I think I'm bolting down the well.
Like he goes, shit, and just whoosh.
Yeah, he goes shit, and he like looks at Forak and is like, There's like a sorry look in his eyes.
Give
'cause he's
me
like, "Oh,
an acrobatics roll.
This is where I roll another 1 and drown.
No, that's fine. You actually, you guys see Vale pop up at the top of the water. Feel free to talk to each other real quick.
Hale, what the hell happened?
They're attacking.
At this
Forak.
point, Caitlin has the armor off because plot
They're attacking
device.
Forak. Gil.
As
I need
soon
my
as I
sword.
hear that, I know it's not my turn, but I would immediately dive. I'd have got rid of all my armor.
You dive on your
I
turn,
would have-
bitch.
Yeah, I know, but I'm. Okay.
I know what you mean. Now you know Forak's in trouble. You're going in.
Yeah.
Speaking of
basically.
Forak in trouble, Forak, give me either an athletics or an acrobatics roll.
Sure, athletics. You saw my initiative check.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Would you go to like I don't know. You definitely notice as the dryad like looms towards you with its arms outstretched, and it actually has the spear. It's kind of like lodged in like a hole in its body, like in its hip, almost like it's storing it in its belt. And it looms, and you definitely see it, and you probably backpedal away a little bit, but not going into the water. But even so, it grabs you and it
I'm
holds
staying
you
over by
up.
the statue still.
Oh, are you? So you're like
I'm on
way
the
further
inside.
away.
My back is to a wall.
Yeah, you fumble and hit. He just picks you up and holds you just high up, like he's not holding you so tightly that he's hurting you, but you know it's uncomfortable. He's not being like, oh, you're a gentle little baby. He's like, goof, and just grinning at you. Caitlin.
Okay. In terms of what I would have dropped, I'd have dropped off all the armor, the shield. I'd have dropped off the greatsword immediately. I'd have dropped off the warhammer. I would actually take my longsword
Cool.
because underwater combat,
Yeah,
stabby implement probably better.
Yeah.
And I would just dive straight in,
sure. Give me an acrobatics roll.
which I'm probably going to fail.
It's possible.
I have a rubbish dex mod in comparison
Yeah.
to things.
Vale's really good at Dex. You will get there next turn.
Okay.
You swim down. You know how to swim, but you're not a strong swimmer. You do know how to swim, but swimming straight down in a tight space is not the most comfortable thing. Anyway, you'll get there next turn. Embrace, the Fey Tiefling, just turns to Forak, and a little bit of that.
I'm still looking stone faced. You know what I mean? I'm not
That,
being
that
expressive.
color, that mixture of pink and green and sparks of gold are just sort of burning out of her eyes. And actually all the flowers in her hair and on her horns are all doing the same thing. It's like, your friend was not very polite. That is the most impolite thing that has happened in my home.
It is an elf.
Elves don't do that. I don't do that.
Apparently they do. Your friend attacked him and he took it too far. Again, typical elf.
She doesn't immediately attack you. What do you want to do on your turn? You want to just stay stone-faced, not doing anything?
Listen, there was a misunderstanding. Your friend attacked my friend. Your friend attacked my acquaintance, and he handled the situation, in my opinion, poorly. And we can handle that afterwards if we need to. But if we do not stop things now, they will progress. Likely, there is going to be an angry human that is a bit like a barbarian, going to come down here, and she does not listen to reason if she sees combat.
Give me a persuasion roll.
For that one, I'm going to go the intimidation just because that's kind of a
That
lie
is
with the whole
a
Caitlyn
threat
bit.
kind of thing.
So, yeah, it is more of a threat.
Yeah. She clearly doesn't get less pissed off. But she, like, kind of whistles, and the dryad drops you, but you're, like, stony, so you just, like, kind of land exactly how you were standing, and it doesn't trouble you at all. There will be words had about this whole thing. And as she starts going towards the water, but she sort of just starts wading in. She doesn't really properly go through.
If she's starting to go into the water, I actually would say perhaps not good idea. You do not want her to see you first. Let her see that you're not killing me. If she just sees you, she'll think I'm already dead, and let's not fight.
No, I don't want to fight, actually. I kind of hate fighting. So sure, I'll go over here and we'll be best friends. And she actually walks over and sort of like puts both her hands on your shoulders, standing behind you, just like staring at the water source.
Over you.
Anybody ever have that like friend of a friend or like supervisor that would like touch your shoulders and you're like, this is not cool. Like,
yeah,
I don't.
It's not an appropriate touch.
Nothing wrong is technically happening, but I feel
doesn't-
as though
yeah.
I'm naked right now.
So, Vale, speaking of naked right now, you've just made it up to the other end. Caitlin just
Like,
jumped in after you. You see Gilwyn and Kellen there, very confused.
I'm gonna take the moment to pull myself out.
Let me do my impression of what Gilwyn's reaction. What? Done. Okay.
I'm gonna pull myself out, like, out of the hole and, like, slump round and, like, hand on back. You can clearly see there's blood coming out, a knife wound in the back. Ugh! Halfling bitch stabbed me. Where's my stuff? I need to go back to Forak. He's in there on his own. Gil.
Caitlin,
I like stagger over and like pull my tunic over. And do my belt up with the sword and the pistol.
I like how Gilwyn isn't even in this initiative order because you didn't do your token thing. I'll let you do your turn after this one, don't worry.
And then I'm pretty much gonna spend my turn getting that shit on basically.
Yeah,
Because I
okay.
think it takes an action to don medium
Gilwyn,
up.
he's... Yeah, that's fine. Gilwyn, he's coming out, he's clearly wounded, he's telling you that Forak's down there on his own. You saw Caitlin go down there.
Yeah, I would. Caitlin just jumped down to help you two. Take your stuff. Go back down. I can't swim.
My wound, Gil.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I can help.
Yeah, it was the subtle hint, yes.
Fine. Yeah, just come here.
Oh.
Healing, swimming, and I'll cast healing word on him.
That is terrible.
Gilwyn's rattled right now. Gilwyn's rattled
I
right
at least
now.
expected like a just keep fighting, just. Keep
Oh,
fighting,
that would've been good.
Dewey,
That would've-
just
it's
keep
too late
fighting.
now.
Oh.
That's also pretty creepy. So 7 points of healing to Vale. That actually completely heals the wound. Like, it's like he
I'm
wasn't
freaking
there.
out.
Oh shit! I'm good at this.
Yeah. All right. So then we whoop all the way back around
that?
to the Dryad. The Dryad drops. The Dryad dropped Forak. He starts walking around and he walks to the front where the water is. Even though Forak said you don't want to be in front when she's there, this guy isn't scared. He actually sort of roots himself down and stands there with the spear is in his hands, but his hands are just like this.
Waiting to spear fish.
His hands are just like this, and he actually does this, which just makes it like a crunching noise, and like leaves fall down. Caitlin, you come out of the water seeing this Dryad stretching while staring with this horrifying grin, and this purple-skinned, glowing tiefling woman who is holding Forak. Forak doesn't seem troubled by this. Well, if you see the glitter in his eyes of, but he doesn't seem immediately troubled.
Right.
Yeah.
Hold on. But she climbs out next to a corpse.
Next to a corpse.
It's like the whole water.
You
is
climb out
crimson.
next to
There's
a corpse.
there.
There's blood in the water. You taste it as you get out. I did slightly gloss over that.
Yeah. I would. She really wants to help Forak, so she wants to go to Forak, but the Dryad is there, looking threatening. She would take a swing with the longsword, two-handed.
Okay. And the
Caitlin, do
Dryad.
not do this.
It's an
If
instant
she's
It's
not-
reaction.
Do
happening.
not do this.
It's happening.
Oh my god, we're gonna get such a chat from Forak at the next tavern.
Ah.
It's gonna
Oh my
lecture us.
god!
Ah. It's actually like the thing is Forak goes, "Don't do this," and the Dryad turns around. Caitlin, I'm gonna take a little bit of control here as you go into your friendship rage. You stab this guy in the
Covered in
neck
blood.
with a jump, like. Go ahead, roll damage, smite. Exactly that. Yes, thank you.
Oh,
You
boy.
could kill this guy in one hit, I bet.
30 plus 1.
Thank the Christ you don't.
Yeah. And then, yeah. thankfully that wasn't. Not
So
very
that doesn't
well.
instantly slay it. Like you stab into its neck, and a mixture of sap and just a sort of froth comes out.
So happy you rolled shitty.
But the smite, that green energy sort of rocks through it, and he literally like shakes like he's being shot, and is just incredibly confused and trying to like push you off him, which of course happens because you're not in a grapple. But he doesn't fall, but he does look horrendously weakened by it. Like this thing was mighty and strong, and now it's like lumbering with weakness. Seeing that, oh no, sister. You don't do that. Embrace goes, oh, it seems like your little friend has come to play. I usually play nice. I usually play nice. But not right now.
Pushes it back.
So I guess I'm gonna have to, you're gonna be very nice and polite, and you're gonna watch while I'm not gonna do it. My good friend here is going to tear your friend's skull out of their head and just sort of like slams her foot on the ground. All the trees light up like with cherry blossoms, and that sort of pinkish light swarms onto Caitlin. Caitlin, give me a dex save.
To be honest, I prefer that to having to face my armor class at the moment. Because my armor class is basically normal human at this point.
That's all you are.
Oh!
Yeah, exactly.
You actually dodge like the swarming of light, which just makes her more mad. And at this point, like, yeah, the nails are starting to dig into Thorak. Of course, they only dig into Thorak on one side because one side's stone. But they're starting to dig in. But she doesn't like move forward anymore. Gilwyn.
I can't swim. Who am I in the room with?
Right now, Vale and Kellen.
Okay.
Kellen is just like, she's just kind of like a little shock.
Well, I'll inspire Vale. And I will sing. Save them. I love them.
Aww.
Save them. Aww. Please! And I'll fall to my knees.
Wow. Okay. Whew. Thorak. Unless you're going to do something else.
Inspiring thing.
Is that
ever. Caitlin, this is all wrong. You are in the wrong side of the fight here. Our companion has killed their friend. You need to stop fighting them. You're making it worse. Much, much worse. And I don't think her significant other would appreciate this.
Does Caitlin hear? That's the question.
That's
my turn. I'm actually going to prepare an action to cast a spell. If Caitlin attacks.
Okay. Cool. Vale, you diving back in? Your wound stitched up.
I'm gonna like give it a stretch, give Gil an appreciative look, and he's on his knees, and then I'm gonna reach down and I'm gonna princess carry him, and I'm going to say, close your eyes and your mouth, and then into the well.
Acrobatics with disadvantage.
Right.
Hopefully your plus
we
9
luck,
will even out. Yeah.
And I have my inspiration to add to that.
And inspiration.
Indeed.
But I don't think you can do
Bless
both.
is saving throw, so I can't do Bless. But I can add my inspiration, which I will do so.
I'm glad I don't need to roll anything.
You pop out on the other side with Gilwyn yelling, I assume.
Yeah.
And like spluttering because he probably inhaled like all the water. And they pop out on the other side doing this. While that happens, the Dryad attacks. Attacking Caitlin, something I always want to do.
Something you do plenty of.
I don't attack Caitlin more than anyone else, aside from I do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is sort of her job, but...
Oh, no.
Did he just roll a 1?
Yeah, he rolled a 1. So this guy, it might be the damage or the smite. He looks around and you finally see that wicked Cheshire grin just to a
It just
disoriented
like a
frown,
huge frown.
and it just like it is backing up, shaking. It's actually losing parts of the bark are starting to peel off, and he's stumbling backwards in fear of Caitlin.
Oh, boy.
Caitlin.
Okay. Well, I'd have probably heard Thorak.
Now, do you have the wisdom to listen?
I have wisdom. I don't have intelligence. I have wisdom. But see, the Dryad hasn't attacked. If the Dryad had attacked me, I'd have fought back.
It actively backed away.
Because the Dryad has left me alone, I would just one-handed point my sword at the strange tiefling woman and just like summoning some divine energies, like slight aura of green magic, and just unhand my friend.
Oh.
The
Thorak,
Embrace just glares, and it's a powerful glare still of this magic, and then the light just fades away. Like, fine. And she just pushes Thorak, which of course she actually had a bit of strength behind her, and I think maybe Thorak's a little surprised by the strength of the push, but it's still not that strong compared to something that Thorak, because he's a big stone boy. Just sort of pushes him away. He's like, fine, get out of here. Leave, just straight leave. You killed my friend, and you tried to kill my other friend, and this is not going to go well. This is bad. Oh, this is bad for you. It's great for me. Oh.
Can Vale like put Gilwyn down? And
at this point, I'd say combat's probably over. So yeah.
While she's like this, I just want to hit her over the head and knock her out.
Because it's quite a distance to move. Oh no, you're a monk. You're a rogue, so at level 2,
wait,
so you can just
he would have to
dash
pop
over.
out of the water and run across the way, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but he's a rogue with his extra like rogue dash as well.
Yeah, dash action. No,
So
I get
like
that.
the distance that I have in my head, I actually made a little bit of a map for this.
In my
so
mind, I hadn't
it.
imagined it to be a particularly large room.
It's not a particularly large room, so that's like with the dash, you absolutely can try.
Could I cast the spell since he's attacking then? Because
Yes,
I prepared.
I think
action?
that's reasonable.
Okay.
I mean, so
Then if he pops out and he's got his intent and he's dashing across, I'm gonna throw up fog cloud, inside. I can't move to get in the way or anything like that. But technically, she's still standing behind me. I'm going to throw up fog cloud so he can't see where he's going. He's just running blind.
For Vale, you can still make that roll, but you definitely have disadvantage.
So this is, I'm just trying to knock her out.
Yeah, it's on our. I know exactly what you're trying to do.
What would I roll for this?
Your normal attack roll, you'd just be doing non-lethal damage.
She's tearing us apart.
I'm just trying to like with my nice
the amber.
Nice amber hilt. Just go donk.
Break it in.
Ha. Spot the difference. There ain't none.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you were so set on where you were going before the fog cloud came up. It wasn't necessarily clean. You kind of hit the back wall and the statue and like grab her and knock her. It's not as clean as you would have wanted, but you do this. Roll your damage.
8.
And you see through the fog, the eyes glow and stare at you, and blood trickle down the head. She's not unconscious at all.
It's a tiefling. Oh my god, she's about to hit you with fire.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let me just look something up real quick.
I'd like to point out, if she's about to hit me with fire, my entire clothing is soaking wet right now.
Yeah. This isn't
magic-
Divinity
it's magic
Original
fire.
Sin.
I have plus 10% fire resistance.
I did fucking like love those.
You know what happens to your wet clothes? They burn off. You're naked now. Everybody's disappointed
Right.
with the sight.
Vale, give me a dex save.
I shall indeed.
Not bad.
And I
Yeah.
can add a d4 on that.
No,
actually.
you're good. Like,
Okay,
you she does that, and just this fire wells out from within her that you completely know. It's not fire. It's sort of like blackness and almost inky shade that wells out of her, and you just amazing. I imagine you actually like duck behind her statue, so she just like destroys her statue. To not actually destroys, but at least like shreds the outer side.
Yeah.
And you're completely fine.
I mean, I guess I'd just pop out the other side, just dunk her in the head again with the bomb.
We'll just swap to your turn, right? because you're still
yeah,
acting.
we're still following.
And
Okay.
now that you've started fighting again, we might as well use the same initiative. So right after that would be the Dryad, who, seeing you attack her, kind of bolsters himself a bit and runs into the fog cloud after you. But he kind of... and fog cloud's pretty big. You wouldn't see him, but you would hear him.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, fog cloud would probably fill like the majority of the room.
Yeah,
if
it does.
Vorak wanted it to.
Those
entire
two,
room, yeah.
those two, Gilwyn maybe is like slightly outside of it, but that's like the water. And imagine if you were like underwater, it wouldn't bother you anyway. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. It doesn't go into the water.
Yeah.
So he bolsters himself a little bit and completely runs for you. But of course, he's gonna have disadvantage on trying to hit you. Because we could do that whole thing that, you know, it evens out, but that's fucking dumb. So I don't do that anymore. And he rushes over, and your head is slammed into the veil. Your head is slammed into the statue so much that
Ow.
that little emerald gemstone just goes directly into your forehead and just cuts this, and he scrapes you along it, and it cuts this just like line like this that just starts viciously bleeding. And while he's holding you, he's like spearing you in the side, but he doesn't quite get you with the blade. He gets you with the side, and it's this mixture of bludgeoning and slashing damage that deals 11 damage to you altogether.
Ow.
Yeah, Caitlin,
Oh my God.
the fighting briefly stopped, and then it started again.
Well, seeing that, I'm obviously going to chase the Dryad and go for a swing. Disadvantage.
Disadvantage, you run into the fog. But you just barely manage to scratch at its back. You hear it yell. You don't see any react. You don't see it. You just hear like a like bestial noise. And then there's the tiefling woman. Oh, what's she gonna do?
And Gilwyn Gallagher, Bane of the Bearded Bastards.
Oh, how much damage did I take from that dryad? I forgot.
Gilwyn
You took,
Gallagher,
11.
poor bastard standing board.
11. You
I'm
took
actually
11
lying
damage.
down, breathing heavily.
How much was it, Ollie?
11.
11.
And seeing this, the woman, you don't see where she goes in the fog, but she tries to shoot at Caitlin with some eldritch blasts.
I imagine
Oh.
Gilwyn's up there just having like a light conversation with the woman. It's like, yeah, so I did notice
The
you guys
corpse,
have a lot
you
of
mean,
robins
the
around
corpse.
here. It's pretty nice.
Oh, no, I
Oh,
brought
blue jays,
Gilwyn. I brought Gilwyn down. He's in the water by you. I
Yeah.
swam. I dragged him through the water. So he like popped up next to me like and then I sprinted off to go.
I'm like
knock
spluttering
someone out.
water out and like a fish out of water.
Water bad.
Marco Polo. Fish out of water.
Caitlin, your armor class is not as high, right? So that's definitely a hit.
Yeah.
This eldritch blast of pink energy, and actually is accompanied by laughter in the air. You're not sure if it's from her or what. It's very uncomfortable. Hits you in the side after you swing at the Dryad for 9 damage. And it's not necessarily like there's a physical wound. It's almost just like a jostle your entire like almost spiritual form. Gilwyn, Gallagher, Bane of the Bearded Bastards. You're kind of like in the water.
I'm in the water.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's a
so
corpse next to you.
Okay. I will climb out of the water. Can I see? Can I see
Fog.
this? No.
You can
okay.
hear it. You can hear the fighting. You hear the black. You hear the roar, the laughter, the crunching, the smunching. It's good. And
Okay.
we shall leave Gilwyn's turn for
Ooh.
after the break, because I saw that Neely Boy needs to go to the bathroom, and I also know that Dean wants to run to get a beer
Oh, yeah.
real quick.
Dean-
So this
Dean needs
might
to
be
get
a little
some
bit of a
beers.
longer break.
Yeah, I'll be back in chat shortly so you can ask questions.
About how good his pee was? Okay, so we will...
It's funny, my turn's gonna be the best turn, so we'll be excited when we come back.
Oh, he's calling it. He's calling it. All right, let's see what happens, because as Arvine said, this was a very D&D situation. Everything just
Yes.
went to shit
But it
several
worked
times
out.
now. So,
It worked
you know.
out.
We'll be back
This
in
is
in like 5-10 minutes.
Dean, don't wait. Start running now.
Go, Dean!
Go, Dean! Go, Dean! Go! Run, Dean!